So it is December 31st, 2025. This is the final day that the MetroCard is being sold, and also the final day that you can refill a MetroCard.
So it turns out that this was actually not the case. For at least part of the day, on January 1st, 2026, it was still possible to refill MetroCards at one specific set of MetroCard vending machines before their MetroCard functions were finally shut off in the early afternoon. Thankfully, we got there just in time, right before that happened, and we believe that we may have captured the absolute final MetroCard transaction. As a result, you're going to see a few moments in this video that maybe didn't age very well, but we're going to take it in stride. Be sure to stay tuned for that, because this turned out to be quite a saga. But first, let's go back to 2025, when I bought my final MetroCard.
So one of the challenges is that all of the MetroCard vending machines, at least to our knowledge, no longer sell a new MetroCard. There might be a few out there that will still let you refill, but you can't actually buy a new MetroCard right now. So my only option is actually to purchase it from a retail location, and that brings us here to this check cashing place, which, according to the MTA website, is a MetroCard retail location. So we're gonna try it and see if we could get a MetroCard. Okay, so good news and slightly bad news. I did get a MetroCard here at CFSC Checks Cashed. It is, however, a $70 MetroCard. That's the only thing they had available. So fortunately, this thing expires April 30th. So I've still got a lot of time to use it after I, then go and refill it a little bit. So now we're actually gonna go and try to do a transaction. Almost all of the MetroCard vending machines have been removed. There was one at MTA headquarters at 2 Broadway, which got removed yesterday on December 30th, so that one's not an option. I also understand that there were a few at some of the northern terminal subway stations in the Bronx, like Wakefield and Woodlawn and Pelham Bay Park. But my understanding is that those have also been shut down, or at the very least, they might still be there physically, but you can't perform any transactions. So most likely, the last remaining active MetroCard vending machines are probably on the PATH train. So gonna go out and see what I can find in Jersey, which I can pay for that train ride with the MetroCard anyway. And hopefully I'll find a working MetroCard vending machine and I could do probably the last transaction, maybe even ever, with a MetroCard. All right, so we're at J Street Metrotech station on the AC, F, and R lines. And as you can see here, obviously no MetroCard vending machines, just an Omni machine. So we're gonna hop on the R train and head over to World Trade Center on the PATH, and then head over to Harrison and see if we could find a working MetroCard vending machine over there. Same thing here, no MetroCard machines, just Omni. So it's currently the evening rush hour. Everyone's going home from work. It's pretty crowded, New Year's Eve, so maybe a few extra people traveling who normally wouldn't be here. All right. So here's where it gets interesting. So there are vending machines here for the MetroCard, but they're all kind of like halfway working. So like this one is only doing SmartLink. They're also only selling single rides. And yeah, they're not accepting MetroCard either. Fascinating. So they're doing a pretty decent job of telling folks that they're gonna stop servicing MetroCards. And it looks like on this side, it's the same deal. The machines are either just out of service or they're doing SmartLink only. So hopefully they'll still be functioning at Harrison. We'll see. So guess it's time to open our final retail bought MetroCard ever.
Wow.
All right, the deed is done. Let's go hop on path with the MetroCard for what is at least our second to last time. Let's go hop on the train to Newark, and that's going to take us to Harrison, where hopefully there is still a functioning MVM, MetroCard vending machine.
Stand clear of the closing doors.
This stop is Harrison. This is the train to Newark Penn Station. The next and last stop is Newark Penn Station.
All right, so we've heard that allegedly there is still an active MetroCard vending machine here at Harrison Station in New Jersey on the PATH train. Not even on the New York City subway, not even in the state of New York, but in New Jersey. It's not actually selling MetroCards, but it is capable, apparently, of refilling them. So let's go and see if we can get what might be the last ever refill of a MetroCard. Guys, I think we might be in luck. Hard to tell. Oh my God. No way.
Okay, so I did some thinking about this later, and I'm pretty sure that this machine and a few of the other machines at Harrison were somehow misconfigured because the sign above them says SmartLinks only, but they were still able to process MetroCard refills. Not sure how that happened, but it likely led to these being the last functioning MetroCard machines anywhere.
So let's see. Oh my God, we can actually refill the card. That's crazy. So unfortunately, we have to undo this just for a second. Take that up. Let's first see if it can read our card. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Okay, so we've put the card in, and it actually seems to be working. So let's see, what do we want to put on it? Maybe let's close out the history of MetroCard with a bit of a bang. Hell yeah. We're gonna do it. Final MetroCard transaction, possibly ever, for 6-7. We got it. So yeah, the machine was technically working. I was able to refill the card. I just had to peel back this little cover. But of course, out of respect to the hardworking folks who put this on, trying to encourage folks to switch over away from MetroCard, we're just gonna pop that back up here and then go use our MetroCard to get on path, topped up with 6-7. So again, we don't know for sure. There might be other MetroCard vending machines out there that are still somewhat functional. There's also a small chance that somebody else might go and refill their MetroCard at this random MetroCard vending machine far out in New Jersey. But we'll see. We'll see. That may have just made history. And we'll see if we could find out if there's some sort of data out there or some sort of record keeping, which might tell us if our transaction was really the last one. But let's go head back to New York City.
So you guys heard me saying multiple times that I expected that to be the final MetroCard transaction ever in the history of MetroCard. And as you probably know from watching the beginning of this video, that was totally not the case. So after a very fun New Year's Eve and waking up pretty late on New Year's Day, here's what happened next.
Okay, so the story's not over. You're probably wondering why we're back at Fulton Center, walking back to the PATH train. And that's because apparently that MetroCard vending machine at Harrison may still be active in 2026. It's possible that maybe just someone forgot to turn that machine off, or the wrong setting is on the machine, might be configured incorrectly. But we have it on good authority that that machine is still processing transactions here on Thursday, January 1st. So we're gonna hop back on PATH, use our MetroCard again, and go see what we can find out. All right, same thing as last night. Obviously, all the machines at World Trade Center are not accepting MetroCard. Let's use our trusty paper ride.
Bruh.
First MetroCard swipe into PATH in 2026. Let's go back to Harrison.
This stop is Harrison. This is the train to Newark Penn Station.
Stand clear of the closing doors.
All right, so let's go and see if that MetroCard vending machine at the other side of the Harrison station is still accepting MetroCards for refill in 2026. I'm really hoping it is. I really hope that I didn't just go all the way out to New Jersey. Let's go see, and hopefully we'll get lucky. And we're back at the same MetroCard vending machine. So, we're at the machine. There's a sign right next to it that says MetroCard sales and refills will end December 31st, and January 1st, 2026, you won't be able to buy MetroCards or refill them. Here's the actual machine, same condition as last time. It's got a sticker over it, over the MetroCard slot, but let's see if they've actually disabled the MetroCard refill option. So we're gonna go English, MetroCard. Oh my gosh, guys, look at that. We can still refill the MetroCard in 2026 just at this machine. Let's see if it actually can read our card. So we're gonna have to peel this back again. Let's see, and it's probably gonna yell at me about the transaction expiring, but let's, oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. All right, it's able to read it. Okay. Now let's see if we can refill it. Start, English, refill. Let's put that in. Guys, literally refilling a MetroCard in 2026 right now. Other amounts. So yesterday we were kind of being silly and we added 6, 7 to the MetroCard, but this is potentially a very historic moment. This actually might be the last time for real. So in honor of that, we're gonna do 125 because that's what the subway fare was in New York City when the MetroCard debuted in 1994. So that's actually probably a pretty fitting way to send off the MetroCard once and for all. Let's dip our card. 125. Potentially the last MetroCard transaction ever, and one of the only ones in 2026. And let's get a receipt, why not? Look at that. That is an iconic receipt. Okay, so that first one was able to refill, but we've also got these two over here, and this is in the other fare control. And this one, if you hit start and then English, it immediately says no MetroCards. It's kind of humorous. Temporarily no MetroCards, more like permanently. So, oh well. But this one right next to it, English, does let you refill your MetroCard. And it's got a sign right here that's kind of, I guess, intended to hint to you that you shouldn't be doing this, but let's do it. All right, potentially, for real, the last MetroCard refill ever. Let's grab a receipt. Wild. We may have just witnessed a moment in history. The last ever MetroCard refill, and also in 2026. Okay guys, so this is actually insane. So, back at this machine, just 10 minutes later, the PATH train hasn't come yet because, you know, weekend headways. And, you know, just been like standing here, taking photos of the machine, things like that. But I figured, you know, let me go and try to read the MetroCard again. Now you hit start and then English, and now it's saying no MetroCards. That is crazy. Literally 10 minutes after I refilled my MetroCard in 2026. So now I have to go back to the other machine at the other fare control and see if it's doing that over there too. All right, back again for the third time. Let's do English. No MetroCards. Unbelievable, guys. So yeah, that means that the transaction we did at the other machine, at the other fare control, really was the last ever MetroCard transaction. That is crazy. Unbelievable. We just made history. I'm so glad you guys are able to share that with me. We literally just made history. That is the last MetroCard transaction ever in history. And you guys were there to witness it with us. What an honor. Unbelievable. All right, let's go back to New York City and get warm.
Okay, so I reached out to a few friends of mine, and, you know, the transportation industry is very small. Everybody knows everybody. And I was tipped off that apparently this last transaction that I showed you guys was truly the final ever transaction with a MetroCard in a MetroCard vending machine. Nothing has been recorded since that transaction, which was at 13:59 hours on January 1st, 2026.
We have just made the last ever MetroCard vending machine transaction. Probably one of the only ones in 2026. Now let's head back to New York City, where we're gonna tap onto the subway with Omni. Happy 2026, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.